by Steve White, Trick Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, this is interesting. I didn't know this was happening. For October, Halloween sort of season, Star Trek is getting a 4-part miniseries from IDW called Holo-Ween, as in holodeck, Holo-Ween. It looks interesting. They've already done the first issue, which came out on the 1st of October, and the second one is coming out in a week, and then they're going to do one each week for the month of October, leading up to Halloween. And it's an interesting story. Basically, Red Jack, or whatever his name was from the original series, the non-corporeal entity that basically was possessing people back in the 1800s and creating the Jack the Ripper legacy, legend, myth, being. Kirk sent him off into space, dispersed him, I think. I can't remember how he did that, actually. But they got rid of him, they defeated him. But somehow he's gotten onto the Enterprise D, and he's gotten into the systems, he's gotten into the holodeck, and he's manifested himself as a combination of Jack the Ripper and a Borg, and somehow he sucked Data in, and now Data has been turned into some version of Frankenstein's monster, and basically they're trying to take over the ship. There's a 5-page preview of the second issue where they actually contain Red Jack and Data in a force field, and they're trying to deal with him because while they can't get him out of the system, he is creating fear in the crew and feeding off that, and they come up with an idea that somehow they're going to transform themselves into monsters and go into the holodeck because somehow fear created from other creatures or other people, he can't feed off that or something. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's just an excuse to have the characters dress up as classic Halloween characters or classic Hollywood monsters, but they could have just had them do that in the guise of going into the holodeck. But apparently they're transforming them using they're actually putting it's in their brains, in their brainwaves. It's just, I don't understand. There's a techno-babble explanation from Dr. Crusher that it was created by people on another planet I don't know if it was to deal with him or if it was just to deal with some issues, but I didn't understand. I read through it once, I'm not reading it again. But yeah, it's interesting. I love Halloween. I like the idea of doing a Star Trek Halloween Holo story. I thought that's cool. But then when they go into Red Jack, I'm like, is that too much because it's too serious? And the idea of bringing him back and trying to make that believable, and then how do you defeat him? So I'm not sure if this is working, but it's just interesting. Visually, it's interesting to see the characters portrayed as classic Hollywood monsters, and to see Data as a version of Frankenstein is interesting. But how is that plausible, really? As an image in the holodeck, it works. They can do anything in there. But trying to make them really the monsters, I'm not sure if they're jumping the shark there with that one. But either way, it looks interesting. The art's interesting. It's not the best, but it's interesting. Some of the likenesses are a bit off, but the overall sort of it's quite dynamic. It looks nice. Everything looks accurate, set wise and everything. But yeah, I'm not sure. This looks interesting, but I think they could have done a much simpler story that would have been a lot more fun. This seems a bit convoluted, and I'm not sure if it really is going to work or is be believable, but I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but we'll see. I'll probably get this just because of the art and the images, just because of the Halloween theme. I'll probably end up getting it. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Holo-Ween. I'm surprised that Star Trek as a genre piece essentially doesn't do more crossovers with horror. We've only had a few examples. We had a zombie Enterprise episode. We had a couple of Next Generation episodes. There was, of course, Sub Rosa, which is one of my favourites, which everyone hates. There was what was that episode? Night Terrors. There was the episode where 7 of 9 Drone, I think that was, or no, Night and Drone. The two episodes on the same video. I always get the names confused. Where so they've done some horror in Star Trek. Voyager did some, Enterprise did some, Next Gen barely did some. The original Star Trek did a couple, but I'm surprised they don't do more, like 1 or 2 a season. I think would be a bit better than sort of 1 or 2 a show. But and yeah, it's interesting. I'm very curious about this. I'll see. I kind of want to read it and see if it works. I'm just from just a sample I saw, I didn't think it worked. I think they jumped the shark and went too far. But it's just a sample from 1 issue out of 4, so it's hard to sort of judge the whole thing. But I'm going to go